Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream scene. We are really excited to bring you an awesome episode on going viral as a content creator. I am joined here by my lovely co-host, the Hunter Wild. What's up, Hunter? How you doing today?
As appropriately expressed by my happy hat, I'm very happy. It's moderately excited, which doesn't fully express how wonderfully excited I am for today's show. Talking about going viral, being able to make use of it, leveraging it into further success, the difficulties, the trials, the tribulations that come along with it, full scale. And we're joined by two incredibly fascinating and relatively well-versed people on the subject, Chillbo and Negaoryx. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us and share all of the wisdom and the wealth of information that you've got. If
No
you don't
problem.
mind introducing yourselves and telling us where we can find you, why you feel like you are here, why you feel like you're here. That's definitely, I'm going to stick with that one.
It's a big question.
Chillbo, if you wouldn't mind starting first.
So I'm ChillboBagginz. You can find me at twitch.tv/ChillboBagginz with a Z, with a Z. Same with Instagram, Twitter, all of that. I full-time variety streamer. A little bit about me, I guess. Play a bunch of different games. I really like something with like a strong narrative that I can get immersed in because I like getting attached to characters and stories and all of that. But I think I'm here because I've dealt with a little bit of exposure on Twitch and Twitter, and I've navigated it on several platforms ish. Been exposed to it.
Awesome. We have a few tech issues, so bear with us for a minute. Hunter, if you want to check the Zoom chat for a second. Negs is having some tech issues, so she's here, but she's not here right now. So just bear with us for a minute, and we definitely had this prepared ahead of time. I swear, chat. Believe me, I'm in charge of production here. Just blame Hunter. Yeah, just blame Hunter.
Poor Hunter.
Hunter, did you check the Zoom chat? Can Hunter hear us? Hello?
Or we're getting the silent treatment. And then there were two.
What is happening right now?
Blink if you're in trouble.
Hunter? Discord just died. Did Discord just die?
Oh, no. Working for me.
Discord has shut down entirely for me. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, no.
Okay. Discord's apparently dying on us. Bear with us, chat. Bear with us. We could try Zoom audio. It might be a little dicey. We could try. Let me mute myself in Discord. Hello. Can you guys hear me in Zoom? If you guys can hear me, turn your audio on in Zoom and we can try it this way.
Hello.
Okay, we got one. Let me type in the stream chat. This never happened before. Okay, we got Hunter. Doing it live. I gotta copy my notes now before Discord dies on me. What's happening? Okay. All right, so the quality's not gonna be as good, but it should still be fine. So Negs, you just missed everything. So we're actually ending the show. It's over. We talked about everything we needed to. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. We just did our intro. So if you want to just tell us about yourself and your stream and what you do and everything about you, you're free. Oh, wait, they can't hear you. Hold on. Okay. Wait. Okay, I could do this. I could do. Oh, wait. 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 I have hidden the video completely. I can't even see. Oh gosh, guys, I'm gonna go. One sec. Give us a second, chat. Hold on. Okay. So can you guys hear me now? Okay, the stream can hear me. Stream, I know you can hear me right now because I can't set up the Zoom audio without it going through the stream. Now I just have to get you guys on and then we're good. Because I guess is Discord back? If Discord comes back, then we're fine. Okay. Okay. Say something? Okay. Okay, say something. Okay, now I can't hear you. Wait, I have an idea. I think. Wait. No. Wait, can you guys hear them? Oh, you hear me twice. Can you hear them? Can you hear them now? Can you hear them?
It's a
Yeah.
very
Wait.
good impression to leave.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Great way
think I
that
got it.
goodwill matches with smart business.
Hold on, I know
decisions.
there's an echo. I think I got it. Can you guys hear me still in Zoom?
I can.
Mhm.
Okay. Can you guys out there? Do you hear voices?
Hello, internet.
Yay!
Everyone.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You did it.
We got it. Okay.
Hello, everybody,
We did do
and
it live.
welcome to the stream scene. We've got an awesome episode for you guys today on Going Viral. Let's just do the intros again. Hunter, how you doing today, Hunter? Are you excited for this?
Happy hat. Very good. Excited for show. Two wonderful people. Great wisdom. Sharing. Chillbo, did everybody get to hear the Chillbo's introduction at length?
Let's just
I can do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Yeah, let us.
Negs
let
did
us
not.
know.
I don't
Give us
think
the
Negs heard
deets.
anything. So
I
she
didn't
has
hear
no idea what we
anything.
said.
I didn't hear anything. I was
Negs
just
didn't get
using
anything.
my I'm interested face. Ah,
So Chillbo, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here.
I'm ChillboBagginz, a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch. I like to do a variety of things. Mainly, I really like narrative, story-driven sort of games because I like to be immersed in the games and I like to feel like I'm in it. It's like an interactive book, kind of. And I'm here because I've been exposed to some levels of virality, however you define that, on Twitter and Twitch, and yeah.
All right,
awesome.
next, what about you?
Hi, I'm Negaoryx. I'm a full-time variety streamer on Twitch. I also do a lot of story-driven RPG stuff and a lot of simulation games like The Sims 4 and Stardew Valley. I'm also a freelance host, a tabletop RPG player, and a voice actor. And I have experienced going viral twice back to back, which was like lightning striking you twice with no time to breathe in between. It was a very odd experience, and I'm here to talk about it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So usually when we do these shows, I like to start with like the basics. Like, what is virality? Like, what is that? What does it mean to go viral? And
Yeah.
Hunter, I kind of want to hear your philosopher-esque definition to put you on the spot here.
I sort of feel. I mean, so it's a very different vibe now than it would have been at another point in history, right? Because of the pacing, the speed at which things can pick up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think entering into the zeitgeist of a culture or a subculture temporarily, where like you are the one who is talked about. You, when people make a reference in regard to you or something about your content, other people get it who aren't necessarily a part of the same community, right? Like, obviously, if somebody's talking about my stuff in my Discord and somebody else in Discord's like, yeah, I watched that too, you can see why that would happen. The virality is that sort of explosive social and cultural explosion. It can be explosive explosion. Can we really get to double dip?
Absolutely.
Explosive explosion that is sort of taking a subset of communication by storm. That big burst in exposure and whatnot. And recognition, I think. Does that fit?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I don't know what I would add to that. I feel like there's like different levels, right? Like there's something that like Baby Yoda was like probably one of the biggest viral things that was around the past few months, right? Because it just like was like so commonplace. People were, you know, making merch from it and memes, and it was like anything, just what anyone talked about at the time. And then you have like what you said, Hunter, where it's like something that takes force within maybe not like your community, but in the sphere. So the sphere of like streaming or gaming, like, you know, Negs, I'm sure we'll talk about like your clips and stuff. But that like, you know, blowing up to the point where it's like gamers and other cultures are talking, or circles are talking about it.
I've always kind of thought a good way to differentiate between like going viral versus having something blow up on a scale that feels like blowing up to you, because to a bunch of people a tweet getting 100 likes can feel like blowing up, 1,000 likes can feel like blowing up.
Context.
The barometer that I kind of use is, can somebody describe who they're talking about without using your name and have somebody that doesn't consume their content know what that is? So saying you know, if I say to you, the girl who went viral for using a bunch of different camera angles and the funny news broadcast thing, we all know I'm talking about Paladin Amber, you know? Like, if you can say, I saw somebody in their bio the other day, the guy who originally did the tweet about the phrase casual sex implies ranked competitive sex. And it's like, if I say that, if I'm like, oh, it's the casual versus competitive sex tweet guy, you know what I mean? If you can describe somebody without using their name and without having to use multiple references, I feel like that's the threshold of like something really went viral, you know?
Recognition, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So this obviously happens in a bunch of different forms. So I'd like to hear from you guys, you know, what are your experiences with going viral, especially like your first time? Like, what was that experience like?
So I don't think I've ever like went viral per se, but I've definitely had things blow up a little bit that drew some eyes and attention to me and my channel. One distinct thing that really stands out in my memory was relatively recently. I think it heavily depends on the atmosphere of whatever social media you're using, like what's going on, what are people talking about, and I guess that could be used as a tool later whenever we discuss that. But it was when people were really attacking women and how they dressed on the platform, and somebody came into my stream and was like, "Thank you for not dressing like that," and I was like, that's not how you give a compliment. I think you're trying to compliment me, but you don't compliment me by bringing other women down. And then, you know, I just shared that on my Twitter because I like to share clips of what I stand for, what I believe in, and what I think is a good representation of my personality and me and my content. And I think because of the atmosphere of Twitter at that time, it just gained a lot of traction. And I think it got like 20,000 likes or something like that, and like 100, I don't know how many views, but it drew a lot of eyes to my channel. And then I guess another situation was when I hit 10,000 sub points a few months ago. That definitely gained a lot of traction and discussion and attention.
Yeah, and I think that's where it goes into that same kind of idea of not necessarily having a singular thing that, like a singular tweet that everybody then recognizes, but I ended up seeing a lot of talk about your situation with that on Twitter. So there was like a lot of exposures, a lot of discourse, a lot of discussion. Yeah. That was sort of that other version of it where it's like it filters out into everything else in the sphere.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting things with Twitter is how they curate content, and a lot of the content that you see on your feed is from what other people are engaging with. So when you have something that goes viral, or even something that just gains a lot of traction, you know, you're showing up on people's feeds more, and then that kind of like I feel like that can snowball a bit because you keep putting out content that's similar, people keep engaging, people keep seeing you on their feed, even if they're not following you, then they follow you, and then it kind of just can easily steamroll from there.
Yeah. Definitely.
So Negs, what about you? What's your story?
So December of 2018. Oh my gosh, it's 2020. December of 2018. I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I'm very, very strict in my community about no backseating. If I do a blind playthrough, even if it's something that might make my experience easier playing the game, I just don't want to hear it. And I had a moment on stream where I found what should have been like the starting zone tutorial area of a game that I had played for, I think, like 100 hours at that point. And everyone in my chat got a kick out of it because they had been literally like biting their tongues to not tell me for 100 hours of streaming.
That's a lot of patience.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. So I had never edited anything for Twitter before. I literally bought Premiere just to put a little compilation on Twitter because the clip was too long. Just kind of cut it up, put it up there, and then that ended up going viral, I think mostly because the tweet went viral, and then news, like gaming news sites like Kotaku and stuff started writing about it. And I think one of the reasons why it kind of got a lot of traction was it was like relatable to other gamers, but a lot of game designers started picking it apart and like writing think pieces about level design, and should a tutorial be mandatory, and should it be something that the player can skip? Did it make for a better experience for me? Did it not? So it kind of had like a second life in a different
Interesting.
community
Yeah.
being talked about.
It's interesting.
And then within about a month of that, in January of 2019, then I had a clip go viral from me playing The Last of Us, which this time was different. I didn't put it anywhere myself. To be perfectly honest, I didn't think it was that funny of a moment. I forgot it happened after it happened, like you do, and streamed maybe 5 minutes more, honestly, ended my stream because I was really upset. And someone put it on Reddit. And I remember that night, my mods put something in my private mod chat, and they were like, hey, heads up, that clip is getting a lot of views. So like, you might get asked about it tomorrow. Like, we might have a couple people coming through from Reddit. And I was like, no, okay. And I woke up the next day and it was like 500,000 views by the next morning.
Wow.
I went from having, I think, 200 people watch me play The Last of Us the day that it happened, and the next day it was like 1,500.
Jeez. Holy
so
crap.
That's a boost.
Wow.
it was a bit of a boost. So those were my two like viral experiences.
Mm-hmm. So the interesting thing that I'm seeing, the pattern is like these instances started on Twitch, started on your stream, but really they took off on other platforms. So Reddit, Twitter, I mean, YouTube, I know, can have viral moments as well. Are there any other platforms that really excel in this like virality? Wow, I can't talk today. Because I'm just thinking about like how streaming works. Like, obviously you have the clips, but there's not really any great discoverability for clips through Twitch. Like, there's not like a page where it's like, these are the top trending clips on Twitch, like across the board, right? TikTok would be another one that you could go viral on.
Yeah, and even on TikTok, you see a lot of things that don't go viral on TikTok. Somebody who didn't create it posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
It goes viral there. And I will
Mhm.
say, I love that TikTok has a watermark of each creator's handle on it, because something that I found, the Last of Us thing that went viral for me had kind of two lives of being viral. The clip itself went viral, and then someone made a green screen video of it. And the thing that went more viral was people editing me reacting to things that I wasn't really playing at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like they would put funny YouTube videos or like Minecraft stuff and put me over it. And having absolutely no watermarks from Twitch means that the vast majority of people consuming the content that I had created had no idea who I was.
Yeah.
I still get people coming to my channel today from more than a year ago going, I just found your username from that clip.
Wow.
So
And you have no control over that.
Yeah.
none
Like, you
whatsoever.
literally became a meme
Sure, it
with
takes on
having
a life of
no
its own.
control over it.
Absolutely none. And the thing that's a little frightening about it is when people use it for content that doesn't align with your political or moral beliefs.
Right.
So people having you react to things that you don't want your likeness associated with, or conversely, a lot of young kids are consuming content and they don't understand meme formats. I got like straight up death threats from children attacking me for crying over Minecraft, which it's like, never played Minecraft. That's a meme. That's someone putting me over someone else's PewDiePie video or whatever. Like, it's pretty scary seeing how impressionable children are, especially when they have content creators of a very large size with a very impressionable audience that they're pushing this content to.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Loco, do you have any experience with like those big explosions? I remember that you had one thing that just stands out in my mind. I don't know where it went after this. Playing Sekiro against the one
the headless ape or whatever, like the guardian ape, I think it's what it's called. That was, I think, kind of a similar experience to what Neg's experienced. So I was playing Sekiro, and the guardian ape is, spoiler alert, when you kill it and you chop its head off, it is not dead. And so you think you've beaten it, and you're so excited because it's a boss, it's really hard, and then it gets up and starts chasing you. So yeah, that clip, again, when someone put it on Reddit, I posted it on my own Twitter, and it blew up on both platforms. And I think the thing that was really valuable, and we'll talk about like taking advantage of the situation later, but like I was still playing the game, like I was still doing my playthrough. So like when people came to the stream, like I was playing the game, and they were like, oh, like, and same thing with Negs. Like even now, I still get people that come in, they're like, I found you from the Sekiro clip. Like it's kind of crazy like how lasting those viral moments can be for people, you know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I definitely think continuing to play the same game that you go viral for makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Because I was playing like a single player story driven game, I really couldn't stretch that longer than the experience was organically. I played the DLC after. I think right when I was finishing it was when the first trailer had come out for The Last of Us 2 around the same time or something. Like we watched some trailers and stuff on stream, but really that I wasn't gonna, for me personally, I think something interesting to talk about with virality is also like how willing to change your content you are to hold on to that audience.
Sure.
Yes.
Because for me, when I finished the game, everyone was like, cool, go back and play it again on a higher difficulty now. Like, let's watch that playthrough from the beginning, but it'll be tougher. And I didn't want to, so I didn't.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of the discussion around like, how do you hold on to that lightning in a bottle and how do you maintain that boost you get? I think the better conversation is, do you want to? Is it more important to you to retain 1,000 viewers at the cost of creating the content you really want to make? Or is it more important to you to say, this either is enough for people to decide they want to stick with me or it isn't. I want to play X new release now. I kind of wish that at the time, like if I were talking to somebody who's experiencing going viral for the first time, I think it's great advice to give of like, if you want to parlay that into long-term steady growth that stays, absolutely figure out what the core of why you went viral is, and then keep that as a thread through the rest of the content that you're going to be putting on that platform. So there's something for people to hold on to that is cohesive for why they're sticking around. But that's only the best advice if that's what you want to do, if you want to maintain it. For me, it was more important for me to be a human being. And I think I've talked with you a little bit about this, Hunter, but my stepdad passed away within like a week of going viral with the Last of Us clip. And something that was really difficult for me was everyone that I knew professionally in the industry was as kind as they were. The advice that I got was like, just go live, just be live. These people are all finding your clip. They have to click on your channel. You're never going to get this chance again. Like, just do what you have to do to show up. And it doesn't matter if you're at your best, just create content. Don't take time off. And I don't think that's very honest to who I am as a creator. I always preach like, take care of yourself, be a human being, listen to your emotional and mental needs. And if I had prioritized staying live at that time, I'm sure I would have seen a huge bump in viewership. And that viewership would have been a group of people that wouldn't have been understanding when I need to take time off, because I'm training them that I don't need that and that I will be live no matter what. And it was more important to me to keep a community that respects my boundaries as a human and sees me as a person and not a content creator machine. So I do think it's really cool to talk about like how to parlay the success of going viral, but I would be doing a disservice to anyone who's ever experienced it if I didn't acknowledge that sometimes you're not going to be able to do that, and that's okay too. You're not a failure as a content creator if you aren't in a good space to be doing that at the time that it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I would make the argument that most of the time you're not able to capture the lightning in the bottle, like you said, because I've had a lot of traction come to my channel and my viewership has bumped up. But like with my tweet, I was being very outspoken and I was being kind of combative, and I'm not that as a person. So you have to be genuine to who you are. You have to make your content. This is your livelihood. You are with yourself at the end of the day, and you're doing this for a long time. If you would have streamed, burnout probably would have happened. Resentment probably would have happened. You wouldn't have been inspired to make new content, to start new playthroughs, to make clips in the future that maybe go viral. It's not like a one and done kind of thing for everyone.
I definitely think we put too much pressure on these moments to be the thing that will launch our channels.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that comes from putting that emphasis on, like, when you see other content creators being interviewed, where it's like, so what was the moment that your channel really blew up? And while that is nice to hear and it's constructive to learn from one another, I think it's super, super, super important that we acknowledge the downside of powering through and like pushing yourself just because a viral moment has occurred, you know?
I mean, the reason people are at your channel in the first place is because of who you are. And I feel like there is a very real possibility you can lose yourself in pushing yourself to create content. And at the end of the day, your personality, I mean, luck has a huge portion in this, but it's your personality, because even though you were playing The Last of Us and that's the general theme, your personality created that moment. So like, you need to hold on to that and prioritize that.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. Yeah.
You have to take care of yourself so you can still be creating content 2, 3, 5, 10 years down the line if that's what you want to be doing. And I think bringing it back a little bit, it's the best kind of thing that I can think to talk about when I talk about going viral is you need to know what you want to get out of it if it happens to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it may never happen to you, but if it does, I think it's scary for a lot of people. And something that I think is really interesting in general that I'd love to hear your thoughts on, you kind of reach a point where people stop treating you like the little guy, you know, where it's like when you're a small content creator, for instance, and a company, let's say, uses your content, or a YouTuber uses your content in their video without crediting you. If you were to post about that on Twitter, people would rally to you and be like, that's not okay. That's theft, or they're profiting off of your stuff, and like, credit small creators. That could have been really big for you. And what I noticed was this weird tipping point of like, once I went viral, people didn't feel that way anymore. It was more of like, well, what do you expect? You're already doing so well from this, and you're already getting so much traction from this. Like, what more do you want? Because for me personally, I didn't do YouTube at the time. If you Googled or if you put into YouTube my name, millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views, tens of thousands of views on all of these videos of compilations of me that I have nothing to do with or nothing off of. And after consulting with a lawyer over it, he was like, yeah, you're well within your right to be claiming the revenue from somebody literally just uploading your content to their channel. But for your mental health, I'm advising you not to issue a takedown, because their communities will come after you and they will make your life a living hell. And that I was like,
must
great.
have been so hard to deal with, because it happened overnight and you had to deal with all of these thoughts and conflicting feelings in a very, very short period of time, because it all happened so fast.
I think too, if I can interject on that particular one, the part of the mental health issue that arises there too, I would feel, is that once you start walking down that path, you have to feel like you're ever vigilant, and you have to constantly watch, and you're going to be looking for and having people, you know, report to you all the things that they're seeing, so that you can continue to file it or manage that. That seems really cumbersome.
It's almost like a whole new like line of work opens up when you go viral. Like, there's so much more to think about. There's new issues that arise. You know, like, you're gonna get an influx of people interacting with you, and not all these people are great. Like, people are gonna hate you for like people saw my Sekiro reaction shoot. They were like, oh, she's faking it. She knew it. She's totally fake. It's overreaction, whatever. Like, you're always gonna get those haters that don't even know anything about you, and they try to make judgments about you. What are some unexpected things that you guys had to deal with once you know, had something go viral?
I mean, the similar thing, like the clip in which I was trying to talk to the person. That's not how you compliment some, hoping that I could get through to them, but that's not always the case. Again, on YouTube, somebody just took my clip and uploaded it to YouTube, and I go in the comments and it's like not nice things, and I'm like, did I do something bad? And like, I had these like conflicting feelings of like, ooh, I maybe I didn't think it thoroughly enough before I posted it on Twitter, or But like, no, like you have to remain vigilant in what you believe. And like, I posted it there for a reason. I'm not going to go back and not trust myself all of a sudden because somebody online is saying something that hurts my feelings because I'm a soft baby.
Because you're a real human being.
Right. That's true. Yeah. But I'm also a soft baby.
I think one of the things as well that's important to talk about is, I mean, 3 of us having this discussion are women as well, and that's not something you can remove from the reactions that you get.
Yeah.
The number, I absolutely guarantee, would put every penny in my savings account on the line to bet if my Zelda clip had gone viral, the reaction would have been massively different had it been a man. Because as wonderful as a lot of people were about it, the top rated comments on YouTube and on Reddit and on a lot of other websites were, I didn't know there was a kitchen dungeon in Zelda, and this is why women shouldn't play video games, and women are too dumb to even find the tutorial. And there were a lot of people replying to them being like, you realize she beat the divine beasts without knowing how to parry, without knowing how to side hop, without knowing how to backflip, and you're criticizing her as a gamer? Like, maybe that means it's more impressive that she figured out how to do all of these boss fights without it. But you kind of end up carrying the weight of, like, you're representing your entire gender with this one thing that went viral and feeling even more pressure to, like, defend, like, women can be gamers too. And it sucks to say, but it really made me hesitant to share content on Twitter, for instance, that was about me, like, making silly mistakes in games, because I didn't want it to become like girl who can't find anything in a video game
The
kind of
second
thing.
there's a perception of weakness,
Yeah.
perception, it's just run with it. That's what they do.
And it made me feel like you really do feel like you are representing a large group of people, and there's this pressure then to, like, play things on the hardest difficulty to prove that you can, and then as soon as you do, you're still gonna get accused of cheating anyway. Like, that was an unexpected side effect for me. Was I should have known that the internet would turn it into you're dumb because woman, but I didn't until I experienced it, and it really made me rethink the way I create content moving forward. I felt like I had a lot more to prove.
Yeah.
And that sucked.
Well, that's the thing about gaining exposure and going viral. We work so hard to curate our communities to make sure they're safe, welcoming, kind spaces for us. And when you're being exposed to the internet against your will, you don't have the moderators there to protect you. You are seeing everything and you can't stop it. On Twitter, we can choose who we follow, but like when you are being exposed to that many people on the internet, you have no control over it. And you're forced to deal with all of these awful emotions and horrible things people are saying to you.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
tough.
especially like, speaking about women, like Chillbo, your tweet was about like, the like women versus men dynamic and being a female streamer, and that's always something that is a very controversial topic. So I'm sure you saw like a lot of additional hate thrown your way because of the nature of like the clip that you posted.
Yeah, I got I had so many women that I look up to respond to that and were like, thank you for saying this. And like, not that like anyone deserves a pat on the back for saying treat women as if they're human, but like there was also like, oh, you just have it easy, you speaking about this from a place of privilege, you're successful on Twitch because you're a woman and because you're pretty and all of this stuff. And it was like, I know I'm not, but like it still gets in your head, and no matter how confident and sure of yourself you are, it still gets to you when multiple people are saying this, because those people believe it. Not that like random trolls on the internet really matter, but like it's hard.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure like even like larger creators have the same issue too. Like no one's immune to, negativity and getting death threats and stuff. Like that stuff never gets easier. But to kind of steer the topic into a different direction, these viral moments, now that you've made them, like, or now that it's happened, can you recreate it? Like, do you know what it takes to make a viral moment? Do you post a tweet and you're like, I know this is gonna get traction?
Post a dog picture and I know people will like it.
My cats are reliable.
I would say I've more of learned what won't go viral. Like I've learned things, or I wouldn't say won't go viral. I've learned a little checklist of what makes things more shareable and what makes things a little bit more accessible to a wide audience. So for instance,
I've got my pen and paper. I'm ready.
For instance, like a lot of things that we talk about with going viral today even have been clips from a stream. I see a lot of people kind of copy the format of like not sharing a link to a Twitch clips page, for instance, but you download the video, maybe you caption it, you put it embedded in a tweet. What I see a lot of people doing is they'll be like, thanks for the fun stream today. Here's a hilarious clip that happened back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern or whatever. That's not very shareable. If somebody wants to share that clip on Twitter, they're not going to retweet you being like, here's what we did on stream and here's my time for tomorrow and here's a funny thing that happened to me when I was eating breakfast or whatever. Like, I've noticed that the tweets that people share more, the actual text that you put on Twitter has to be something broad that is applicable. It can be the exact same video, but if you just caption it like that moment when blank, and then you reply to that tweet saying, this happened on stream today, what a great stream, catch you back tomorrow, loved it so much, whatever. That allows people to share the video content without the fluff that doesn't really apply and that they wouldn't really want on their page necessarily. So like little things like that I've definitely learned.
Yeah, essentially you're making a headline, right? Like that's how you should think of the tweet, is like, this is the headline for the video. Do you want people to stop and watch it? Like you need something that's captivating. Like I think for my Sekiro clip, it was called biggest Sekiro debate ever in all caps. Like
that's what it was.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think it has to be content that can, which is, I think this is just a summary of that, content that exists independently. It is its own little capsule of content. That tweet, the video, the meme, the whatever it is that you're putting in there, the text is its own set apart thing from your stream and whatever. I'm not talking about like, I'll be playing this again tomorrow and here's the exact time and here are these other factors and qualities, and make sure that you go follow on Instagram at the same time.
It just gets a little repetitive and it almost takes the personality out of it, I think, a little bit. Because at that point, you're just kind of like being redundant and saying the same thing over and over again. And with content that's consumable, I think you have to be versatile in it. Like for me, I was like, okay, that one clip did really well where I was very outspoken, but like, I don't always want to do that. But like, that was a little bit of my personality. And I don't want people to expect like, whenever they come to my stream, that's the kind of person they're going to get, because it's not. But yeah, I think keeping it simplistic, relatively broad, general, usually does well. But and if you're posting your Twitch link and even like going live tweets, if I post a picture of myself and I just get a little like, oh, by the way, I'm live. But if I put my link in it, it doesn't do as well.
Yeah, I've found doing tabletop shows every week, you do a going live tweet and it doesn't matter how much effort you put into like, I do a full cosplay of my character every week with a wig and a school uniform and like makeup to make me look younger. And because I'm playing, if you haven't watched the show, I'm playing an 11-year-old once a week. And if I just post pictures, like the exact same ones that I do going live with just a caption that's like, making magic at Hogwarts, through the roof engagement. If I do making magic at Hogwarts, twitch.tv/table story.
People don't like links
50
on
likes
Twitter.
or whatever. If it's if you use the words going live, if you put a link in it, it's just, so I started like tweeting a couple hours in advance, just cute pictures of it. And then when the show goes live, I would reply to it and be like, live, by the way, with an extra picture. And then it bumps up the first post you did. So like,
Yeah.
because another thing to remember too is I think with talking about this kind of stuff, a lot of it goes back to intent and like your end goal. If you're a full-time streamer, for instance, and your social media metrics matter to you, you're going to be thinking about these kind of things, because when you're working with sponsors, you're showing them impressions on Twitter and you're using those metrics. If you're not, if you're just creating content for fun, or let's say like Twitter isn't your biggest platform, Instagram is, or whatever it might be, then you do have a little bit more freedom with not worrying about if each tweet is maximizing impressions and all of that fun stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting because, you know, going back to what is the goal of the tweet? Like, you are trying to drive people to your stream. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, you know, you may not get as many likes and retweets on a going live tweet that has, you know, or a picture of you that has a link to your tweet. But then it's like, well, if you just post a picture of yourself and you're live, are people going to make that connection? Are people going to make that jump? Like, knowing, like, if you just say that you're live, are people going to investigate where you're live at? You know, so is it worth the sacrifice to get, you know, less engagement on the tweet itself, but you're actually getting people to the stream?
It's so hard to know. Recently, I've had people come into the stream and they're like, I've been following you on Twitter forever, and I'm just now checking out the stream. I'm like, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what like finally made you do it, but thanks, welcome. So I feel like no matter what, it's just, I think it's really hard to get people to click on links, period. People don't like doing it. They don't like doing it.
They don't like to even see the links. I mean, just by what you guys have said, they don't even want to like a tweet that has a link in it.
So
to the, oh, gee, I had 2 points and now they're almost gone. I would be remiss if I didn't take my opportunity to talk about vision, because I beat that dead horse every time. Yeah, very, very much to the point of like knowing your end game, knowing what it is that you want to get out of something, having a preloaded vision and mission for your brand and your content as a whole, the identity of your Twitter, I guess, as a feed of your personal identity, but also your brand identity and all that stuff. Having an idea of what you want to get out of that and what you want it to be before any virality kind of happens, makes it so much easier to make sure that you're sticking to what it is that's good for you, best for you, instead of the very easy thing to stumble into, which is, oh, I should be capitalize on this by modifying my content to match the thing that went viral, to match the thing that's getting all of this traction. And that's where several times over, many of my friends have found themselves, fortunately earlier in their career, going down that road and modifying things and changing things, and then becoming profoundly disappointed in their own content and their own creations. And I think it's really interesting to bring up Lance here. You know, that guy on Twitter who makes all of these farcical video posts that are skits. We had him on the show at one point, and he was talking about the difference between those and his own stream. His own stream is nothing like that at all. But this is something that he wants. He wants to have the skits and the stuff that can only live in a particular format to live over there. Yeah. And he wants his stream to be its own separate thing with its own separate identity.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
go ahead.
I think that's a really smart way to do it, because at the end of the day, if you're setting realistic expectations for yourself and you're making choices that align with that, then you're gonna be happy. Like for
that's
me,
the most important thing.
For me, if my expectation after going viral had been, I want to maintain these 1,500 viewers even when I'm not playing The Last of Us. You poor dumb idiot. No, you will not do that. Even if you're doing your best to retain them, you're still going to see a dip no matter what, and it's not a reflection on you as a human. Something that I would like to note before I forget it is, I think a lot of the times when people have these conversations about retention and capitalizing on things, they talk about those numbers as numbers and not as people. And the best thing you can do for your mental health is to remember that these are people watching you. It is not a number that is ranking your popularity or your goodness or whatever adjective you want to use to describe
self-worth and
there is there is nothing wrong. Like you mentioning that guy Lance, as soon as you said that, I went, oh yeah, I'm not a fan of those skits. Not because he's not good at them, but because that's just not my brand of humor. I think it's awesome that he makes them and he does them really, really, really well, but him not like getting my view isn't a reflection on that content. It's just like, do you like slapstick comedy? Do you like dark comedy? Like, it's so helpful for your mental health with going viral to remember these are people consuming that content. And if they don't come back, I had a lot of viewers watching me with that Last of Us clip who literally just watched the Last of Us directory. That's all they do. They just want to watch different people experience the game. They want to watch new people play it, or they want to watch people revisit it, but they're just watching The Last of Us. And it is not a reflection on me if I can't parlay that into forcing them to watch like Skyrim or Breath of the Wild or whatever it might be. So first and foremost, set those realistic expectations for yourself so you don't beat yourself up when you don't match unrealistic expectations, I think is really helpful. And bringing it back to like being happy with the results is I had a very realistic expectation. I knew I was going through something incredibly tough at the worst timing in my entire life. It was like the best thing that could have happened to me professionally and the worst thing that could have happened to me personally, and they happened at the same time. And so I had a really realistic expectation of retaining virtually none of that growth, which meant that I did my best, and when I retained some of it, that was a win, you know?
I think that's really important to hear for a lot of people that are maybe working really hard to get some kind of exposure on either Twitter or Twitch, because it's probably not going to go the way they think it is. They think it's like as soon as it'll happen, that's it. The work is done. Yeah, right. When the work is just beginning and you have a laundry list of new problems that you have to face and that you have to cope with. And I think that's really important to know, because I think a lot of people break their backs trying to gain exposure and go viral and maybe lose themselves a little bit in the process of doing that. But with the vision, you know, what kind of content creator do you want to be? What kind of entertainment do you want to provide to people? And what will make you happy? I think that's important. And I think with all of those things and just being genuine to yourself and just having fun with it, people love to see that. People love watching content creators that you can, you know, they can see through that stuff. I truly think so, because again, they're people, they're not numbers. They can see through that. They know when you're being disingenuine. They know when you're not happy with the content that you're creating. So it's super important, and it's just going to make you happier at the end of the day. And yeah, because luck has a really big portion of it, I think. And if you get lucky while you're staying true to yourself, that's great.
That's the awesome. Ideal situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, after you guys went viral, what was next for you? Like, I mean, you know, obviously, Negs, you were saying like you had a lot of personal stuff you were dealing with. But, you know, on the professional level, like, what were your next steps? What was your line of thinking? Like, for me, it was like, I just happened to be in the middle of my Sekiro playthrough. So for me, I just, A, kept playing the game I was already playing. And then B, I put out more clips on Twitter of Sekiro because people saw that. They'd look at my feed. They'd see more cool clips. And then that would get them more likely to check out the stream. And then I think it's about, you know, you got to get those people. And this is the struggle of every variety streamer. Someone who starts to watch you for a game that you're playing and then becomes a part of the community and will watch you play other games, right?
My virality only dealt with my experience with a window, so I didn't get to leverage that into anything.
I remember that tweet.
I will say, I think it's really smart that you did that, Loco, because I didn't, and it's something that I would do differently in hindsight. Even going through as much as I was going through personally, I have never been big into social media. And like I said, like I literally got Premiere just to do that Zelda thing. Like I was not in the habit of putting clips on Twitter. If I were to go back and do it again, I think the only thing I would do differently is share more clips from that playthrough, because I really did not lean into it at all. I I would engage with other people tweeting about the memes and stuff, but I also made a point. I was like, I kind of feel, and this is obviously subject to everyone's opinions, but for me, I've always think it's a little off-putting when people who go viral for stuff suddenly very deeply lean into it, and they're like, for instance, you know, I used to work with Tay Zonday, and he did a great job of being like, yeah, Chocolate Rain happened, but like, I'm also a voice actor and I also make other content and I do other things. If every tweet from that guy was just like, Chocolate Rain merch available now, Chocolate Rain guy does this, to me personally as a consumer, I'm like, we get it, dude. You had your 5 minutes. Like, what else are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And not everyone feels that way. A lot of people follow because they want to see the same thing over and over again.
For sure. For
me personally, I was like, I don't want to be the bunny meme girl. I want to be Negaoryx. And it's, yeah, that was you. That's so cool. I didn't put two and two together, you know? I will say one thing that I was glad to be able to parlay it to was opportunities outside of streaming. So the voice acting job that I did recently, I did a video game called Cook Serve Delicious 3. And the guy at the company, they didn't have me audition for it or anything. They just contacted me and offered it to me because someone at the company working on the game saw the Zelda clip, followed me, continued to keep up with my content, and was like, she's really good. I think we should bring her in for something. My first hosting gig as well, hosting E3 with Twitch, was the same thing. They were like, oh my God, that bunny clip was so funny. That put you on our radar. We had no idea you were interested in hosting. So I think something to do is oh my God, just for the love of all things good and holy, have a pinned tweet. Have a pinned tweet. Have a pinned tweet. Have a pinned tweet. Please pin something. Just something. Please have your contact information, not just for business emails, but for like where to find you on Instagram, where's your YouTube, where, like, how can people find you if they liked this tweet. So important, because the number of business opportunities I had that came through from those experiences, I never would have had in a million years, ever. I was not on people's radar before that. I had my own community and I had my own audience on Twitch, but I never in a million years would have been able to parlay it into something else. So for me, I think I capitalized on it in a different way. And instead of focusing on the numbers on Twitch, I more have looked to, like, it opened doors outside of Twitch, which was really interesting. And I feel like I'm rambling, so I'll stop, but I could talk about this for forever.
I love it. This is fascinating. I'm just like so engrossed. Well, like, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like before that happened, people weren't really posting clips on Twitter of their content, like little moments of stream. And then it took this drastic shift, and now that's all you see.
Yeah.
Well, I love it because it's like a highlight of the stream, and you can get a little taste test of somebody's content and see if it's something that you would enjoy. So I think that's super neat, and I'm anxious to see how that changes over time.
Yeah,
because I don't remember clips on Twitter before that.
So and it's interesting because, you know, I feel like the first thing that came about were, you know, GIFs, like that actually being embedded into Twitter, you attach it, and then just using images, uploading your own images for like going live tweets and stuff. Like I still use, you know, mostly like just thumbnails for my going live tweets of like the game I'm playing or something. So then that was popular for a while, like, you know, posting pictures. And then now I feel like it's clips, it's short videos, and now even from that, it's becoming caption videos. So people talking, it's just for Twitter, made for Twitter, and it's captioned. So that's even driving engagement for those videos even higher. So it's interesting to see, like, you know, how social media changes. And I think being aware of how these platforms work can help you try to create a viral moment.
Yeah, it's interesting how we adapt off of each other almost.
Yeah.
Somebody starts it, it becomes popular, and then everybody does it, and then somebody does something different, and then we take that shift for a little bit.
Evolution.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing to remember too, is you never want to give the advice to someone of like, see what others do, copy it and don't stray from it. It's like with any game, like when you're talking about a competitive online game, you talk about what the meta is, and we definitely have a meta right now in terms of like streamers using social media for growth. And you'll notice a lot of people, for instance, who are like streamers in the 1 to 10 view count range will look to streamers like Dr. Lupo and Ninja or Courage or whoever it might be for their social media advice, when I think really you need to meet more in the middle and look to the people that are more of like 50 to 500 viewer range kind of thing. I think a lot of the times we see that like when you're starting out, maybe people don't always know who to emulate in terms of social media stuff. And like the big guys, the top dogs, aren't the ones to emulate because they're already there. It doesn't matter what they tweet. Dr. Lupo could tweet once a month and he would be fine. You know what I mean?
It's almost like categorically different, right? It's like investing. You don't want to copy. If you have $300 to invest in the stock market, you shouldn't be copying hedge funds that have, you know, 300 million.
That's a good example. Well, they're the exception.
That's great. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And not the norm.
And the one thing to remember too is like the whole trend of videos being captioned right now wouldn't be a trend if someone hadn't done it for the first time. So it's important to look to what gets engagement from other people. It's also important to know that trying new things and having them not succeed on the first try doesn't mean they won't succeed eventually. Sometimes it can be important to kind of be a part of the meta to gain enough traction. So when you post something different, you already have an audience that is going to engage with it, because things can't go viral if no one interacts with them. You can be making the best content out there, and if you have one follower and they don't engage with your tweet and it doesn't get seen by anyone, it's gonna die with no engagement, you know? So I think it's really important to kind of keep that in check. Which again, it all goes back to what we were talking about with like visions and goals. Like if your vision is like, I don't mind just throwing spaghetti to the wall and seeing what sticks. I want to share my content and I don't care if it's getting engagement.
Not literally, chat. Don't actually record yourself. Well, actually, maybe.
You know what? That's a challenge. Make that go viral. Throwing spaghetti to a wall just to prove you wrong, Loco.
Someone will make a meme out of it somehow.
Yeah. And that's another, honestly, I know we're joking about it, but that's a great point of someone will make a meme out of it. Let's say everyone in our friend group, every single streamer that I'm friends with, that Loco's friends with, that you're friends with, the Hunter's friends with, if we all made a video of ourselves throwing spaghetti, the same song in the background with the same like hard cut to our face after or whatever, you know, people would pick it up, they'd copy it, they'd want to get in on the joke, and it could take life of its own because of a social network, because we all know each other. And if you get enough people to engage with a thing, honestly, the quality doesn't even matter. It takes on a life of its own, you know?
For sure.
Definitely.
Bad example, but it's true.
No, that's a great example.
It's so true. So I think the importance of understanding, I think people get too hung up on like, I'm making the best content in the world, and you know, if one or two people would share it, I just know it would go viral. And it's like it's getting hung up on the wrong part of that equation, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Then I think virality by itself can't be, it's so easy to have that in the same way that metrics by themselves are somehow get confused with endgame, where it's like just numbers by themselves somehow serve the purpose, but it's supposed to be the thing that measures other qualities of your content and what it is that you're providing there. We've all seen, well, maybe not. It's a thing that I look at least sometimes. When something has gone incredibly viral, looking at that same person's tweets next week, because sometimes it's somebody who only has like 300 followers on Twitter, and they just, for whatever reason, that's the thing that got picked up and ran with it. Next week, they only have 312 and are back to, you know, one comment and 2 favorites or whatever. That's always been its own fascinating thing. So I think avoiding, and again, in terms of expectations, avoiding the idea that going viral solves any problems. That by itself doesn't create a solution to any issues that you have, and doesn't necessarily create the point of joy that you want to seek. You got to add other things in. keep something rolling, and staying true to yourself to make sure that you maintain that happiness, because disappointment is so easy to come by.
Yeah, it can't be your Hail Mary.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
earning those followers once doesn't mean that they're going to stick around.
Right.
I was talking about this on stream the other day. My Instagram is the exact same follower count. And when I say the exact same, I mean like to the decimal point, the exact same that it was a year and 3 months ago. Because what happens is every time I make a new post and it's not memes or clips of me reacting to things, I lose followers. And then I gain new people who are interested in seeing that type of content. So I get hundreds of followers a week on Instagram, and I lose hundreds of followers a week on it. This, like, I was just looking at my analytics the other day, and it was like, you know, you gained 250 and you lost 251. And it's because things that send, you know, push notifications or things that show up in people's feed, they're going to go either, who is this? I don't remember following them. Or like, oh, that's not, they're just posting, they're like a human with a dog. Oh, I just wanted to see more bunny memes. And for every person that unfollows, you know, are you more interested in hanging on to the people that are only there for one specific reason? Are you interested in maintaining those numbers by catering to them? Or do you see that loss as a sign of building an audience that is really there for the content that you want to share? I have never wanted my page to just be like a weird shrine to something I did for 30 seconds a year and a half ago.
Right.
I want people to see what I'm creating now.
I want to be helped by that, but I don't want to be defined by it.
Yeah. So it's like, personally, I really am not bothered by, I see a lot of people tweeting of stuff like, oh, I post about this and get unfollows. And for me, I'm like, good, great. I hope now you enjoy your Twitter feed more because you're not seeing content you didn't want to see. Like, it makes it better for both of us. If my numbers are artificially inflated and you're not actually engaging with any of my content, you probably should unfollow because you really don't want to see it in the first place. And then your ratio of people following you to people engaging with your content is going to even out more anyway. You don't want inflated numbers and nobody engaging with you.
Right.
Nothing looks like a bigger red flag also to like sponsors than 50,000 followers and 5 likes every tweet, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and that's actually a good way to look at Twitch too, and look at like when you're stressing out about your viewer count because it's like not going up, but it's like you're plateauing, but it's like it's not the same like 200-300 people watching you every time, you know? It's always like, even within a stream, it's always a cycle of people. You can't please everyone. Like, I think that's an important mindset to realize. Like, you're not going to be able to make content that appeals to everyone all the time. You're always going to be cycling people, and as long as you keep bringing in new people and keep making content you enjoy, then that's a win, you know, even if your numbers aren't going up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that also goes back to the biggest piece of advice I give to anyone that wants to talk about content creation is those numbers aren't numbers, they're people, you know? And it's like, if I look at my analytics and I averaged, 400 viewers, but I had 900 unique chatters, that doesn't mean that I failed to retain 500 people. That means that I'm lucky enough that an extra 500 people at some point in the stream, as it fluctuated, some people take the time out of their day on their lunch break to come in for 2 minutes to say, can't stay, but wanted to say hi to you in the community. Like, you have to remember that's not a failure to retain someone. That's you and your community mean enough to someone that they took 2 minutes out of their day. Even though they can't stick around and watch the content, they still want you to know that they're thinking of you and that they support you. And that to me is a plus, not a minus.
That's a
you
big
know?
plus, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's what you define success as. And that's what you define success as. Is people genuinely enjoying your content, not a number, not 100,000 followers. It's people genuinely enjoying your content.
Absolutely.
So I have one more question for you guys before we wrap up for the day. Do you guys think, I mean, obviously we don't have any proof, but do you think that you're more likely to go viral again if you've gone viral once? I think almost all of us here have had at least 2 moments of going viral. Is that coincidence? Is that like, what do you think about that?
I mean, you're on people's radar, so I definitely think when you have eyes on you, they're looking to see what you do next, and absolutely. I mean, it just makes sense statistically, but it's not like a guarantee that you're going to go viral again, because it depends if you capitalize on it, you know. And I don't like saying that, capitalize on it, because like I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're a content creator. Like, it's a business, right? It's like still your job as much as it's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
And a very like often genuine practice. It's still like you got to think of, you know, these situations as opportunities, and you know, utilize them the any way. Well, not any way you can, but like, you know what I mean.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You want to make an opportunity out of them, but like you don't want to stray far from your content. Or because like whenever I posted that clip, I didn't want to make another ranting clip after that, even though it probably would have gained some traction. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I just wanted to post funny stuff. So
I think it depends on what happens after you go viral the first time. As Hunter mentioned, we see viral tweets all the time of like viral tweets of funny observations or things that are just text that people don't follow. A lot of viral tweets, people read it, go, "Ha, that's me, I'll retweet it." And enough people do that a tweet goes viral, and it comes from an account with 300 followers.
Yeah.
And like you said, Hunter, 10 people follow from that. You know what I mean? I don't think those people who have that unique experience stand a better chance of going viral than anyone else, because if you went from 300 to 310 followers on Twitter, I can't even count the number of times I've seen people reply to their own viral tweets being like, 100,000 likes and no follows, like what are y'all doing? And I think a lot of content, if it's just viral because it's like, oh, I got a kick out of that, but it's not indicative of what else they create or what else they post, there's no reason for you to follow it. In which case, no, I don't think those people get a leg up on going viral again. I think it's a bit of a snowball effect. And like we were talking about earlier, where I gave that dumb spaghetti thing example. For instance, if I were to do another tweet that would start to go a little bit viral, there's a ton of people that follow me that have audiences way bigger than mine. There's accounts that follow me that have 1 million followers or 500,000 followers, or 700,000 followers, whatever it might be. One person with a following like that, liking your tweet, replying to it, whatever it might be, will push it to their audience as like, blank account liked this. And that reach is way bigger than anything I would have on my own. So I definitely think if you're a content creator with at least somewhat of a following, and you have a network of people that have somewhat of a following, then you have a leg up on experiencing it again. But I think you definitely have to think about who will see it, who will share it, and what content of yours will they see when they come to your page, and if it'll make them
for sure
hit the follow
button. It's got to be
or
similar,
not.
right? Like if you put a gaming clip that goes viral and they see other comments about gaming, they're gonna want to follow you. If it's like outside of what you do, then people don't care. People are not gonna
what
follow
does your
you.
audience consume?
What's
that?
What does your audience consume? What are people following you for?
If they're following you for lack of a better way to put it, like shit posts, then if every other tweet you do is super wholesome and super authentic, and you don't normally have that tone with your humor, you're going to experience what I did on Instagram, which is people are going to unfollow at such a rapid rate because they realize that's not what they followed for. You know, it's like you saying with the window tweet, Hunter. It's like it's not like people are going to be like, where are the tweets about more window stuff, man? Where's that relatable window content? Like, it's just that's not it, you know? But if people followed because they liked your voice in that tweet, like they were like, hey, this man has a unique perspective, the way he replied to people in the comments, I really like the way he conducted himself, then maybe they'll like the rest of your tweets, you know?
That is the thing that I've seen myself in my own experience, seeing something that I was exposed to because it was going viral and been like, oh, that's a really interesting and fascinating take, or that's wildly hilarious. And I will go and look at, their most recent 10 tweets. And I'm like, this is nothing like I have no interest in the thing that drew my attention is not indicative of everything else they're about. No interest in following.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is kind of unrelated. Well, it's related, but not. It's to what you said. You know, looking at people's feeds and stuff. That's why I think it's like I've started to delete my going live tweets like after like the day after, because I feel like
it's interesting.
if I scroll through my own feed and it's like a lot of going live tweets and not anything of sustenance, if someone goes to my page, they're not gonna want to follow because it's ugly. Like I try to clean up my own feed to make it more appealing for those people that they might find you from a tweet, right? Especially with how Twitter works, where a lot of your feed is not someone you're following. You click on their feed and then you see, you know, a lot of just like going live tweets or just, you know, if it's messy, you don't want to follow.
I wonder if it still measures metrics even when you delete the tweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know.
It's so weird because I remember a time when Twitter for streamers was used as a means to communicate to your audience. So like kind of how I use Discord. I remember I haven't been on Twitch for a very long time, about a year and a half roughly, but I remember I would be like, this is my schedule. I'm going to go live later. I'm going to go live tomorrow at this time. And that's like all my tweets would be about communicating my content to whoever was following me. And then I remember that's the majority of what streamers did. And then it sort of shifted to your likeness and the sort of content you bring to the table, and less of like, that's what Discord is used now for. People go to Discord if they want to stay updated on your schedule when you're going to go live. But even now and then I find myself, I'm like, I still get in the habit of just wanting to be like, hi, I'm going live later.
I remember making a Twitter when I first signed up for Twitch because I didn't have a schedule. I didn't know I would become a streamer. I kind of accidentally fell into it. And so I would go live and people would be like, finally, I was waiting at my computer. I didn't know if you were going to stream today. So I made a Twitter literally just to be like, here's a place where I'll say, this is what time I think I'm going live today. And I had a similar experience of now I use it to more of just share a little bit more of my personality and a little bit more like the distinction between I'll use an Instagram post to share a picture that I think is worth looking at, that provides insight into something interesting I'm doing. I'll do Instagram stories all day long because my cat makes cute sounds when she sleeps. I don't necessarily want to tweet every time she snores in her sleep because you have to choose to find my stories. Like noting the difference between content that is pushed to people versus content they have to seek out, I think helps curate not spamming people, like you were saying, Loco. If they click your Twitter feed, you don't want it to just look like it's a thread of going live stuff. I knew that if I let it, my Twitter would be a thread of pictures of my puppy and my cat. And let's be real, to me, they're all cute. To other people, it's the same picture 100 times, you know?
Yeah.
Like to me, I notice the difference. They won't.
It definitely comes down to like the platform that you're using too. Like Instagram is for pictures. Instagram stories is for, you know, day-to-day stuff. Whereas Twitter, I mean, you can do day-to-day stuff, but it really isn't as appealing to people, like you said. So I think knowing what platform you're posting to will dictate what type of content people want to consume.
And the type of content that you consistently post on those, like making that sort of more systematic.
I will like to say, because I know we're wrapping up soon, something that I briefly touched on earlier, but I think is really important. When we were talking about, like, for instance, my likeness got used in front of a lot of content that I didn't create myself. It's always up to the discretion of the person creating the content, what you visually want your stream to look like. But something that really gave me pause after that was like, should I have had at least a light watermark of my name? You know, I was green screen, for instance, and you could see down to like my ribs, maybe like my rib cage height sitting in my chair. And I wish I just had like my name over like over my abdomen area or whatever, you know what I mean? So people would not have been able to as easily put my content out there with my name not attached to it. Or if they did Photoshop it out, it would have been blatantly obvious that they were trying to not give credit, you know? So obviously, like, the aesthetics of your stream and the way you put content out there, you know, make it look how you want it to look. But if that's a concern, think about a discrete watermark that you can use, and not just something that you add later when you edit a clip and you put it up. The Last of Us clip, I did not share anywhere. I didn't post that on social media anywhere. A viewer clipped it, downloaded it, put it on Reddit. So putting it organically in the content you create on your primary platform, thinking about those things. Don't think about it as like you are controlling what happens to your content, because you're not. There's so many ways that people can share stuff without your knowledge.
Right.
So think about if someone is to share it and you have no idea, are you happy with that being what's out there?
Yeah, you're
And
protecting
protect
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, I think we're gonna wrap it up there for the day, guys. Before we take off, we're gonna do some shout outs. Also, I'd like to shout out Your Brand, Your Business, because they are going to be back next week. Basically, they're the show that usually comes after us, and they're gonna be talking about taxes. So if you're a content creator and you want to know more about taxes, yeah, from professionals that can do your taxes, make sure to tune in next week. It's gonna be after this show next week. So follow the channel if you guys like this kind of stuff. But first, let's do some shout outs. Neg, starting with you, tell us where we can find you. What are you up to? What are you doing?
My username is the exact same on all platforms because I'm the only person that thought that making a made-up unpronounceable username was a good idea. So it was available everywhere. It's Negaoryx, Negaoryx. I'm just starting to get into YouTube this year, so you can feel free to, I guess the word is subscribe there. I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, awesome.
And Instagram, Twitter, etc., all the usual places. Right now I've been getting really into Dead by Daylight, so I've been learning how to play that on stream for the past 3 months now, which has been really fun. So come say hi next time I'm live. We also have another launch for Cook Serve Delicious 3 coming up in a couple months. It's going to be making the move to console at a certain time. I'm not 100% sure when, but expect a lot of cool stuff coming up on that front because I'm a voice actor in that game and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And then every Tuesday, you can catch me doing Tabletop Tuesday. I'm on 2 different tabletop RPG shows, 1 p.m. Pacific on the Table Story channel. It's a Hogwarts tabletop RPG. I'm a first-year Gryffindor student. And at 8 p.m. Pacific on Saving Throw show, it is a Dungeons & Dragons pirate adventure called Pirates of Salt Bay, where I play a Void Tiefling Rogue. And it's a lot of fun. And I'm sorry that was a lot of words, but thank you for having me. I try and practice that so I could like.
No, that was
You
good.
did it great.
Cut it
That was
out, but
amazing.
thank you.
Chobo, what about you?
Twitch.tv/ChillboBagginz with a Z on all platforms. On Twitter, I think it's 2 Z's because someone swiped that real quick. Right now, I'm just playing a mix of Breath of the Wild and Dead by Daylight because, oh my gosh, I feel like with the Negaoryx playing Dead by Daylight, everybody's like, wait, this game is fun and it's not scary? What do you mean? So my mods finally convinced me to play it, and it's super fun, especially with friends. But this Friday, I will be playing Animal Crossing for the very first time. I've not played an ounce, a second of the game, and
Yes.
I'm so excited to finally experience
Nothing from the franchise?
nothing.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. I don't know. I was busy with Neopets,
So
I
this will be
guess.
all fresh.
Me too. I
don't
played
know.
a ton of Neopets, but I've never played Animal Crossing.
Oh my
I don't know how
gosh.
we missed the boat on that
I have
one.
no idea. I don't know. But I'm excited to experience the universe that so many people know and love. And gosh, can I just say the community is so amazing? Everybody's like, yes, new friends, come play with us. It's great.
Mhm.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be really big on Twitch. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Hunter, what about you? What are you doing?
I my big thing right now is the clear content counterpart to Animal Crossing, which is Doom. I'm gonna be streaming Doom on launch the exact same day. There's gonna be like a hard divide on Twitch between people who are watching one or the other. Doing a big old launch event for that, so I'll be streaming it for 36 hours over the weekend. I've got a lot of. I'm so happy. This will be my first launch event of 2020. I used to do them constantly. Had to wheel that way back, so I'm really amped for that one. And otherwise, taking it really, really light this week because normally I take weekends off, but I'm just going to be doing like a full week in 3 days. But Path of Exile launched this weekend, and that's very, very enjoyable for me. It's a nice, relaxing thing. You can find me on twitch.tv/TheHunterWild, and either The Hunter Wild or The Hunter Wild TV on most other platforms, like on Twitter. It's got the TV at the end because hooligans.
I know. I've
about you,
almost the
Loco?
same problem.
Mhm.
I can be found at twitch.tv/LOWCO. I am playing. What am I playing right now? Neo 2.
You're playing
Wow.
Neo 2.
I'm getting old. Okay, guys, chill.
I got you.
I am going to be playing Doom and Animal Crossing when they come out. I don't know how I'm going to. Maybe
Wait.
2 things set up. No, I don't know. I'm gonna do like half days of both, I think, because I want to play both of them. So
Wow.
I like
That is
games.
dedication to
I
content.
know. But yeah, so I've been playing Doom and Animal Crossing, and I don't know what else. And you can find me at twitter.com/loco2525 because someone has Loco and they're in an inactive account. So that's where you can find me. If you guys enjoyed this content, though, we do this show every single Monday, so make sure to follow the Twitch channel. You can also find us on Twitter, YouTube, and our website, StreamerSquare.com. If you guys want some more free educational content about streaming and content creation, like I said, we have about 5 shows that we do Monday through Wednesday, and we're going to be adding more. So follow the channel and tell a friend about what we're doing here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love friends.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys so much. It's been such a good episode, and we will see you guys next week for the stream scene, and following that will be taxes. So we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye-bye.